Greetings, health and happiness to you. I'm Skol, and today we're going to do a tabletop review of the new Coastline Jack C. Risner exclusive, available at traditionalpocketknives.com. And this time I have two of the models, and so we'll get a 2-for-1 deal. I'll review both of these since they're both Coastline Jacks. They're the same knife, they're just with different colors and different scale materials. There's actually 5 different ones to choose from. These came out last Friday. Today is Thursday, December 18th. And in addition to these 2 models, which is the Indian head with red bone, the black micarta with the black stonewash blade, the other 3 models are an orange slice shield with a orange scale, and then there's a crystallized titanium gold color, crystallized titanium like this one, but it's in gold. And there was also a blue bone with jigging available in the new Coastline model. So let's jump right into the tabletop, and let's do the black one first. So this is a C. Risner exclusive designed by Austin Jackson, and here we'll start with the blade. It's a modified spade blade. You might know that spade blades are usually rounded at the end, so this one's been brought to a point, so it's called a modified spade blade. And what spade blades were traditionally used for 100 years ago, most people would know it because 2/3 of everybody was a farmer. For herd and livestock management, spade blade was used for neutering and castration. Spay on a female. So some females would be for breeding, some would be for producing eggs or milk, and others that were going to be produced for meat, those would get spayed because they didn't want them to breed. And if they were neutered, they tended to get heavier and fatter, so produce more food. So this is a modified spay blade. We got a swedge, we got a hollow ground bevel, we got a long pull on both sides. We have jimping, nice jimping with a bite. And here on the blade we've got some laser etching. I did my homework to verify because I was thinking that's kind of a whitish color. Is that really laser etched? So I did my homework and I contacted Austin and asked him if those were laser etched, and he said, yep, that's laser etched. So there you go, laser etched, says Coastline Jack, laser etched on there. And C. Risner 154 cm. And you got your sharpening toil, a nice sharpening toil. And then we have black stonewashed stainless steel black stonewashed bolsters, and the liner also, and that's an integral piece. So the bolster and the liner is the same piece of metal. And then you have black micarta, and I believe that's linen micarta, black linen micarta handles. Nice modern material. You have 3 flutes here and 1 flute down there. And then I wanted to mention something specific about the other model. So this is also a Coastline Jack. It's the red bone Indian head model, but it also has a shield. Let's see if I can get a good view of that shield with the crisp logo if I get closer. My lighting's not as good right now because I have a bay window right behind me, and it's better when natural sunlight's coming in here. So now I'm getting glares and darkness. So, but that's a very nice Indian head logo. If I had better light on it, maybe if I go this way. No, well, still getting a glare. There we go, almost. You can see how crispy it is. Crisp. And then you got your laser etching. So that's what I'm used to seeing is for laser etching is black on silver. But that other blade with the white, that was also laser etched. And then the thing to say about the shield, this bolster and this liner are one solid piece along with the shield. So the shield is the same solid piece of metal with the liner and the bolsters, all one piece of metal. So that's never coming out of there. And with a laser etch, that's high quality. That'll stay on there too. And then let's weigh these, because I did notice a weight difference. If my scale's still on, let's just turn it on real quick and give it a tare. And now we're ready to go. So the black micarta version, 3.2 ounces, and that matches what it says on the website, on the traditionalpocketknives.com website. They have all the stats listed. And here the Indian head with the shield is a little bit heavier, and that's because that extra metal, the metal is heavier. That's giving you an extra 0.2 ounces for the shield. So it's the same knife, same dimensions, but the shield gives it 0.2 extra, which isn't anything really to notice. Close to 3 ounces is a very good everyday carry weight. No problem. So that was your ounces. Now let's do measurements real fast with the ruler. So here we've got total length, got it lined up, 6, and there's kind of a hump towards the end, so I'm going to call it 6.25 inch total length. And for cutting edge, we're getting 2 3/8 cutting edge, and 2 3/4 total blade length, and 3 3/8 total handle length. And I wear extra large glove size myself, and you can see I can get my full 4 fingers on the handle, no problem. Here's your hammer grip. And you can get your thumb out there on the jimping, or reach out a little bit farther, or you can hold it different and get your finger way out there. That all feels real good. This little notch gives you something to hold onto as well. And then, did I mention 3 flutes here, 1 flute there, which kind of matches up. We've got a theme going on. Let's do the walk and talk before I compare over there. So here we go. I call that a 6 and a 6. I'm doing this left-handed for some reason, but that was still a 6 and a 6. So 6 out of 10 for walk and talk on the black one. Let's see if it's the same on the other version. It's a little bit stiffer. I'm going to give that a 7, and that's a 6, and 6, and 6. Now, people talk about modern knives and how they can be fidgeting, and you can get dopamine hits from playing with a pocket knife and flipping it open and closed. You can actually get your dopamine hit off of a slip joint too. I know a lot of people like to pause on the last tension. They'll give it a little pause, and then they'll put their finger on the blade to push it the rest of the way. That's kind of a slip joint community thing. I generally don't like to push on the blade for some reason. I'd rather just do it down here. But you can get a little dopamine hit when you finish it off. With that last little snap is always satisfying. And then let's do it a little bit quicker. That was a slow walk and talk, but you can always go a little bit quicker, and you can open it faster if you want to. Now let's line these up compared to these other models. So here you can see we're kind of in the same ballpark as the other C Risner. So I've got 5 different models here. We've got the Ohio River Jack, we've got the Sugar Maple Jack, the Hot Brass Jack, the Kentucky Holler Jack, and the newest one, the Coastline Jack. And there are 2 other models that I don't have. There's a Lake Champlain model, and there's a Appalachian Ridge model. I don't have those 2. I think the Champlain is sold out, but I think there's some versions of the rest of these still available. So as you can see, the Ohio River Jack is a little bit bigger, kind of the bigger portion of the slip joint sweet spot, which is about 2.5 inch blade up to 3 inch, which is the sweet spot is a little bit shorter than modern pocket knives. Kind of the EDC sweet spot for modern pocket knives is 3 inches to 3.5 inches, and the slip joint sweet spot is 2.5 to 3 inches. So you can see all of these are about the same size, perfect for getting your 4 fingers on there, just for human ergonomics with hands. These are kind of in the sweet spot size, and then the Ohio River Jack is just a little tad bigger. The Indian head version is that logo on the shield. That's based off of the old Indian head pennies. So you can see those look similar. And I got a pair of Indian head pennies, just like I have a pair of Indian head knives now. So I'll put these next to each other. So here we've got the red pearl acrylic version on the Kentucky Holler Jack, and now I've got the red bone version. I was really looking forward to get a red bone. This is actually the first bone knife I ever got, and somewhat recently I had seen a hard use test on a red bone knife, and that hard use test proved that bone was a worthy material that was tough. So I'm going to be getting more bone, but I'm glad to get my very first bone knife, and I will be getting more bone in the future. And then on this one, you're bringing a modern material, micarta. And also, it's interesting, how often do you see black stonewash on a slip joint? So that's somewhat rare and new. I have seen it before, but it's hardly ever been done. So I wonder if more blackwashing will be done. Stonewashing tends to hide fingerprints, is another good thing about stonewashing. So I kind of would like to see more stonewash versions of slip joints come out, because I like that. When you buy your Coastline, you get this box. The Indian head does come in the same box. It just has a different sticker on the end. And you get a Coastline Jack sticker. You can see more of the scenery. Same scenery, but you get to see more there. And then they do have some other things. You get a Band-Aid and a Jolly Rancher and a Christmas sticker. So that comes with it too. So we did the weight. Did we do the caliper? So caliper, turn it on, and it's reading 0. So the website says 0.12 inches for stock thickness. We can check that real fast. You see that on camera? And there we go, 0.12. So I'm reading exactly the same. 0.12 is a good stock thickness. All of these C. Risner models, they're all built like tanks. They all have a thick spine, and they all have sturdy bolsters with good back springs. They all have a good feel, and you can just tell that these are tough and durable. So we talked about spay blades. We did a comparison to the other models. We talked about the dimensions, caliper, and just trying to make sure I got all my points. I think I've hit everything. So definitely another hit from Austin Jackson, the designer, over at traditionalpocketknives.com. You can head over there, and available now, and most of these other models have some versions that are still in stock. Here I've got a crystallized, this is jigged, one solid piece of titanium, and that's milled onto the surface, a jigged pattern onto the titanium. This purple is crystallized titanium. That's a newer technology thing. Here we got abalone. And then I already talked about the red pearl acrylic version of the Kentucky Holler Jack, red bone, micarta, and I think that's it. I recommend these. These are nice. I do have a slip I could show off. Here's a new Indian head I already had a red one, so just got a different color for the other Indian head. So now I have a new Indian head. They have this black thick Batero leather, so I can just slip my new one. It's got the red stitching into the slip, so that just keeps your knife nice if you want to get a slip. And this feels real comfortable in the pocket, and it's the perfect size for your knife, and when you want to get it out, you can give it a squeeze. And another thing to say about slip joints is don't they look more artistic compared to modern knives? You tend to get more natural materials like bone and abalone, so you get some materials you don't normally see on modern knives, and tend to be a little bit more artistic and beautiful, I think, on slip joints often. So there you go. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed the tabletop review. I recommend the new model. Which one's my favorite? I'm kind of still like the bigger one, the Ohio River Jack. Here, I'll go ahead and open it. This is just so perfect. I mean, it looks basically like a rectangle, but it's just like perfect. And I love the Warncliffe shape. That's kind of my preference. And the Ohio River Jack is super good. And then all of these are great. I like having all of them. And this is my first abalone. So one thing that the C. Risner brand's been doing for me is I'm getting new materials I've never had. I don't have any other knife that has crystallized titanium. This is the only one I have so far. This is my only knife that has abalone, and it's my only bone knife. So I've been exposed to new scale materials on the C. Risner brand. Well, thanks for stopping by. Now I think I've hit all my points. And remember, always carry a knife. Skol!